But today, I thought today we would talk about happiness because you guys are going through hell at the moment with your dictator in chief. But there's still so many reasons to be happy, and one of them is nature. Um, you know, and whatever your belief system, I do strongly believe that there's ultimately a creator. And now that science has proved the existence of the soul, and for that you need to read the essays of someone called Julian Julius Cross on Substack, because he is a tech engineer. Charlie, no, we're not playing. Guys, just I'll try and put this somewhere where you can look at something nice. Actually, you can look at the beams in our kitchen for 1 second. I'm getting Charlie outside. Charlie, come on, quick. Charlie, go ahead. Come on, scoot. We have liftoff. So yes, science. He is a tech engineer and he's an AI. He creates AI. He's an expert in AI, and read his essays because science has proved the existence of the soul, my dears. Isn't that lovely? So no one needs to fear death anymore. Of course, if you were a great Christian believer, you wouldn't have feared death. But what's fascinating about all this is that most religions talk about the continuation of, in fact, pretty much all religions, they know the soul exists and they talk about what happens after death. And we've all thought, oh, that's myth, or, that's, you have to have faith to believe that. But now there is empirical proof. Isn't that incredible? So that's one reason to be very, very happy today. Why did I talk about that? I digress all the time, as you know, because on my tombstone I will have written, but I digress. And if ever I become world famous, I am going to write a book all about Moy and an autobiography. And I want the title will be "But I Digress" because I digress all the time. I think it's part of. Apparently, I have ADHD, undiagnosed. But let's put it this way: both my daughters have it, diagnosed, and the more I look at my behaviours over the years, I think I'm a female ADHD. We tend to mask the symptoms as little girls rather than little boys who are very, very obvious. But when I think about the way that I am a terrible procrastinator for things I don't like doing, the way I get so buried into things I do like doing that time just passes unheeded, my wild enthusiasms, the fact that I am loud, and I like to think I'm funny sometimes, read the Charlie Chronicles, but I'm quite an out there person, as most ADHD people are, and frankly, I think it's my special power. So to all you fellow ADHD people out there, it's your superpower. Someone in the village here wrote me, she was English, and she wrote me a letter at Christmas time when I asked why I wasn't invited to their Christmas party. She wrote back to say that I was too much. And so the French for that is trop. And yet, oddly enough, I'm only too much for this little bunch of English women in the village who I think find enthusiasm very threatening. I don't know what it is about English women, but I think they've been brought up to be very quiet, not to hold an opinion. At parties they'll cluster together with the women and they won't talk to the men because that would be forward. It's that kind of weird dynamic. I get along quite fine with Americans, I can tell you. But I've always found, right through my life, I've been magnetized by and attracted to people who end up having ADHD. So it's just it's very interesting. Anyway, so it's not all about me. It's going to be about happiness. So what makes me happy? Okay, nature definitely makes me happy. When I'm in nature, I feel the existence of whatever you like to call God very strongly. When I was going through my rotten separation, then divorce, now happily, 25 years ago, we were living in Hong Kong, and the girls would go off to school. and I would walk up this path that went from somewhere called Pok Fullam, if you know Hong Kong at all, and the path would go from the Pok Fullam riding school right up to the peak. And I would do that walk every day, and I would ask God for a miracle every day. And every day I had one. So one day, it was this very elderly Chinese man who was blowing tunes on a leaf as he walked down the path. And another time, I was literally like a foot away from this spider spinning its web. And I sat for about half an hour watching it spin its web. And the way they use their sort of like hooks at the extension of their legs to loop things around, it was miraculous. I wish I'd had a mobile phone at that point that I could have filmed it with. Absolutely extraordinary. What other miracles? Oh, I can't remember now. So Charlie and my husband have just gone off for their walk. It's funny, when they come home, through the kitchen window, I take a photo of them and I go, "Home is the hunter, home from the hills." And I think it's the fisherman home from the sea. I don't know. It's a famous poem, but it always reminds me of that. Something I wanted to show you. I'll wave them goodbye. I hope this movement doesn't bother you too much. I'm sorry if it does. I'll be as smooth as I can. I wanted to show you the roses I picked yesterday in the garden. These make me very happy. My God, nature's beauty. But take a little look, my dears, at that. Isn't that heaven? This is the heaviest scented rose in the garden. The perfume is extraordinary. I wish I could send you perfume. No doubt one day we'll be able to do that. But all the roses in the garden, bar just there's one big white rose, have scent. And, and there's also one climbing rose that doesn't. But that's our church. Okay, and you can hear the pigeons cooing. And here's my front garden, which is surviving the shadow, but you can see there's a little bit of burning going on. I've got some dahlias coming up here. And then going this way, it's hard to see now, but in about 20 minutes after I've stopped nattering to you, I will be doing my long garden water. And I actually really enjoy that. And I kind of think, I don't know why people use automated watering systems, because if you do, you don't get to see every plant every day. And it's really important to do that, particularly in chaleurs, like heat waves like we have now. You do need to check on the, look. Bye, Charlie. Bye, darling. Have a good walk. Is my husband off for the walk? He's shy and he doesn't like being on Substack, so I would just have his behind, his noble behind. I'm talking about the dog, of course, not my husband. My husband's behind is perfectly normal. Laugh. Anyway, look at that. You can see the sunset there. So now I'm going to quietly move back to my charger. And when I'm at actually I'm on 35% now. I should be okay to move out to the garden. But look at that. That's what I see. Isn't that incredible? I see that view every morning. That makes me happy. And I don't know whether you live in cities or whether you live in the country, but there's nature everywhere because we have parks. And look, reducing it to the smallest, we have hot plants. But, you can have a window box if you're in an apartment, which is glorious, and that you can look at every day and just, having a gulp of coffee. Just getting your hands in the dirt every day, I think, makes you happy. It's this connection, I believe, it's this connection to the earth, to the planet and to the earth. And I think this goes way, way back to our simian forebears, back when we were apes. Let me quietly come out. Oh, I wanted to show you something before I do, but I digress. I wanted to show you, my older sister, made me a calendar of the family. And I wanted to see my beautiful parents. Look, here. That was my beautiful dad, Irish blood. They used to call him Hot Lips Brennan. And that's my twin sister, Anne. And there's my beautiful mother, my older sister, Janie, who made this calendar, and me. That was me. So this was in 1960. Now, and there's Dad's roll-top desk, which my brother now has. My brother didn't come for another 4 years. And then that here, he was my great-grandfather, and they lived in Kilkenny in Ireland. And here, he died young. I think he was alcoholic and he died young. But this incredibly strong woman was my great-grandmother. And here, that was my, that was my grandfather, great-grandfather, I'm sorry. No, my grandfather, Anthony. And here was Josephine, and he loved Josephine. And he immigrated to Queensland after the Great War, so he fought in the Great War, unfortunately was shell-shocked. He emigrated to Queensland where he wrote poetry for the Queensland Workers' Union magazine. And this is Josephine, otherwise known as Fina, who was religious even then, and she ended up as a missionary, and I believe she was in the Philippines and also in China. And they used to write to each other all the time. They were very close. Now, one of these men here, I think it was him, he became a leading psychiatrist in Ireland, and in fact he was the person who pioneered day release for so-called lunatics in asylums. And Dad was so proud of him that was why Dad decided after he returned, basically, he joined the army very late in World War II. He was too late, thankfully, to join the fighting, but he went to India to do officer training. And when he came back, because he'd become an officer, the British government offered him a degree, and he said, I'm going to do medicine. Now, before that, he'd been a bank clerk, so that's how returned servicemen used to be treated. He became a bank clerk, he became a doctor, and ended up married to my mum, and went to Tasmania. Now, this is the poet, Tom. And sadly, he committed suicide because of his depression. Beautiful man. And in fact, right now, there's a book being written about him in Australia. My sister Jane was contacted, and she's got some of his poetry, so I'm going to publish some of it on Substack. What a beautiful man. Now that was my grandfather. You can see he looks a lot like my dad. My grandfather, basically, he fought at the Battle of the Somme, same as my Australian grandfather on the other side. He fought at the Battle of the Somme and returned home to Ireland, but decided to emigrate to England because the economic opportunities were better. And then he went quite high up in the Ministry of Agriculture, and he used to go around England. He used to live in different places in England, dragging his wife and his 2 sons with him right round England, inspecting places. I'm not quite sure what he did, but there he is, lovely man. And that was my grandma, Edna. Now, Edna was a true eccentric who my Uncle Mick, in her old age, he would take care of her, and he'd take her to dinners, and if she was bored, she would take out a book and read it at the dinner table. That's the kind of eccentric she was. Now, she was the sister of someone called Bill, and my Auntie Bill I spoke about the other day. My Auntie Bill was the secretary to Lord Redesdale in London, and he gave her a grace and favour residence in Chelsea, and that was where I first stayed when I went to London. Unfortunately, she died a few years earlier, but the house was still with the family. But she knew the Bloomsbury set. Summer, my darling, hello, Summer. So she knew the Bloomsbury set and people like Virginia Woolf, all of that, and she used to hold soirees in her house, which is why we've had our first soiree in December, because I believe we should live surrounded by music and poetry. Hello, Summer. This is my grandfather and my very handsome father. And so he divorced the eccentric Edna when the boys were adults, and he ended up married to this sweet woman, Auntie Ivy. And I lived with Auntie Ivy for a while also in when I first went to London. She was a sweet woman. And that's Alison. Alison's 10 years older than me now. She was born with a hair lip and suffered a lot of surgeries for years. And Auntie Ivy was so blunt that she'd say to her things like, "Oh, I don't think that operation's made much difference, dear." Bonjour, Summer. I like your French. Aha. Now, this is on the... this is on Mum's side of the family. So this is my great-grandpa here, McCall. And that's my Auntie Nell. Wasn't she beautiful? All of the... now, Auntie Nell, she emigrated to Australia as a tiny little girl. Her sister Mary, who was my mum's mother, was 1 year old when they emigrated from Leith in Edinburgh, the port town of Leith. No, not in... Yes, Edinburgh. And they emigrated to Australia, 1900. And that's Nell, and I adored her. We used to spend time with Nell when we'd visit Sydney, Auntie Nell, and she was a sweet woman, and she used to attribute all the good things in the family to our side of the family. Dana Dubois. Hello, dear Dana. Everybody, you need to subscribe to Summer and Dana and invade. We all need to subscribe to each other, actually, but hello, Dana. I'm taking you through my family history. My big sister made this beautiful calendar for everyone in the family. And here is my grandpa. Now, if you've read my articles, I did an article on him. My grandpa became a bit of a bigwig. He started life polishing shoes. He then got himself a job in a massive Sydney department store, and then he went off to the Great War. And his wife, Nell's sister, was so lovely that she was the only person allowed to run down to the railway platform to wave him off because she begged the guard. Anyway, so he became Sir Eric Harrison, KCMG, and other titles. He was a member of the Privy Council, which was the final court of appeal for the Commonwealth. He started the Liberal Party, which was the right-wing party in Australia. It was nothing like it is now, but he started the Liberal Party with Menzies. It used to be called the National Party, and then he was basically like a poobah. I don't know if you know the Mikado, but he was a minister for everything. At one time, he was even Deputy Prime Minister when Menzies went off to England during the war to have consults with Churchill. And he banned Lady Chatterley's lover from Australia, and we've got a photo of him with the Beatles. Oh my God. And the disdain on his face, he thought they were long-haired louts. And we've also got a photo of him chatting with the Duke of Edinburgh or Prince Philip, because he ended his career as Australia's representative in London, the Australian High Commissioner. And that's where my mum met the most extraordinary people that you would know if you've studied World War II, and the English participants, people like Casey, people like, well, of course, she met Churchill, but pretty much all that cabinet. And I have upstairs in the loft Mum's invitations to these grand events because she was 21 and very beautiful at the time. Thank you, Dana. Okay, so that's him. Have a look at him. He's on Google. Sir Eric Harrison. And look at that. That was my grandmother, my mother's mum. Is she not exquisite? And look at that cheeky look on her face. So she emigrated at the age of 1 to Australia. She had one eye that was blue and one eye that was brown. She loved acting. Bonne nuit, Summer, darling. Okay, thank you. Your French is brilliant. I'm very impressed, Summer. That means you need to come over and stay with us, okay? Come and have a summer holiday with us. Not summer, no. Make it, it's got to be spring or autumn. They're the best seasons here. Anyway, and I'm serious, Summer. Serious. Write to me. And Anna. Anyone who gets close to me, they're invited. So her name was Mary, and she died at the age of 41 of cancer. And then Grandpa remarried a rather unpleasant woman who became the wicked stepmother to my poor mum and caused her a lot of emotional problems. As well as the fact that Mum's mum died when she was 11 and she hardly knew her because she was always out on the hustings with Grandpa. Mum had a very Victorian childhood, being brought up by a nanny. My mum, look at her. I love that. She was a Qantas air hostess very early. So it was in the 1950s, so just after the war, Qantas formed. And at that time, the hosties, they did the paperwork on the planes. There was one hostess, and the rest were stewards who used to feed people the drink, etc., you know, their drinks and their food. And Mum did nursing. She was doing nursing. She transferred her nursing studies when Grandpa was sent to London. And then when she finished her studies, and she met Dad during those studies at the London hospital where Dad was doing his training, she joined Qantas and had the most fantastic 3 or 4 years, because they only chose women they had to be beautiful, they had to be tall, they had to have at least one language. Mum had French. And look at her. Isn't she gorgeous? Look at the joy in her face. Is she not a beautiful woman? Those eyebrows, I wish I had them. I used to. I plucked them all away back in the 70s and they never grew back. So gorgeous. And she used to write Dad letters while she was flying, and the letters were so illegible, because doctors' writing always is, that Mum would read the endearments at the end of the letter and then tuck the letter into her bra and read it later, or try and translate it later when she had time. But she travelled the world. I mean, it was extraordinary. And at the moment, I'm still drafting, and I've got to get it finished. I'm writing about Mum's life in 2 parts, because she had the sad part, then she had the mad part. Absolutely fabulous. Fabulous. Anyway, and my dad, Hot Lips Brennan. The nurses called him that at the hospital. My dad, a poet, a dreamer. I loved him deeply. Very, very deeply. He passed 10 years ago. Not quite 10 years ago, actually, 9 years ago. And we had a special connect, me and Dad, and I think it was our love of literature, and he loved my poetry. One day he said, "Your poetry is very stylish," and that, oh gosh, that, I felt so good about that, because Dad was a reader. Beautiful man. And Mum on her wedding day, look at that. Is she not a stunner? And I have that beautiful Lily of the Valley wreath upstairs, and it's the family heirloom, and all the girls across our family wear that when they get married. My niece Jen has already worn it. Lily of the Valley bouquet. Beautiful. And that's that. So, my back is really killing me at the moment. And the reason my back is killing me is because I've been doing I'm perpetually doing the garden. Listen to the birds. Now, another reason to be happy is that the birds are just fine in this heat wave. I'm going to wander with my phone outside, show you a bit of the garden. Apologies, close your eyes if you find it too disturbing as I move, because we shall go out to the garden. I want you to introduce you to somebody. This is Beccasine. Isn't she gorgeous? And I got Beccasine as my little reward to myself for getting my new job at the gallery in Saint Alvere. I'm the manager there. I go to work for 10 o'clock every day, and then at 3 o'clock I close up, and then I go and I have a swim at the chateau, would you believe, of a very darling friend of mine. Her name is Françoise. Let me tell you, people, about Françoise, because it's enough to gladden your heart. This woman is 80, or 79, almost 80. She is one of my 3 bestest girlfriends here in France. Françoise grew up reading about French explorers, women explorers, and she decided that's what she wanted to do when she grew up. So she doesn't exactly do that, but she goes to Kazakhstan every year. She has travelled the world, and she goes either with her husband, Peter, who is Austrian, or she goes with girlfriends, and sometimes she goes on her own, and she travels the world. And she does it simply. She hates posh hotels. She hates pretension. She likes staying with local people. So she always, Lisa Joy, my God, hello, Lisa. Hi. Everybody, you've got to subscribe to Lisa. Lisa does what I do, but in the evening. So Lisa, actually, I'm going to stop shaking this around because it must be making you nauseous. Lisa is a wise, wise woman. This is my watering dress, by the way, very light. And she does this evening chat. She's just what I would call a good woman, a really good woman. And Lisa is also a secret spy because she goes to this fundamentalist church and then she reports back on what's going on down there. I don't know how you do it, Lisa. I really do not know how you do it. You are amazing. And Lisa has horses. And Lisa does these porch chats. And yes, 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 yes. Hi, Sacred Storylines. Hello. Oh, gosh. All my favourite girls. How are you? Anyway, so yeah, so you must subscribe to Lisa Joy because she is profoundly wise. And she natters on like I do. And she has this guy called the bathrobe guy. He is so lovely. I want to know what's under the bathrobe. Ah, good on you, Lisa. So what happened? Was it a falling out or you just couldn't take it anymore? Or did they find out? Did they find out you were an espion? Anyway, Lisa, good going. Well done. Frankly, I wouldn't be able to stomach them. Lisa does conversations with amazing people on Substack. She's quite somebody. So you must subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, and also to Sacred Storylines, because this is how we connect. I think women are wonderful. Men are too. You guys there. Do we have a guy on today? I think we might. If you're a man, please wave your hand. Send us a heart. Because good men, feminist men, are fabulous. Yeah? But I do love my feminist women because we're a sisterhood, and are we not? And, if it was up to us, we would make the world. We would cure the problems of the world. We really would, just with love, compassion, understanding, common sense. Yeah? Good. You lurk and you watch the headlines. Lisa, I like that. Lurking is good. Lurking is kind of like stalking, but in a bodily sense, yes? Okay. Because I've had some latecomers on, I'm going to talk for a little bit more, but then I need to do my gardening because it literally takes an hour. It's an hour and 20 minutes to do the hosing, and it needs the deep hose today. So it's not just me with a dirty mind, Sacred. What a good guy he is. He's definitely a feminist. Lisa, can you ask bathrobe guy next time you see him? Just say that we've had a discussion about him. Summer, you are naughty. Are you implying that the bathrobe guy might be challenged? Lisa, get the bathroom Joe. Get him on get him on. And if we could rapture up that, yeah. Oh, you bet. Christian nationalists. Holy cow, what's wrong with them? I couldn't believe the first time I heard that. My mind is definitely carrying a little muddy. Yeah. Our minds have to contain a little muddy, even if it's just to have a good giggle. Yes. I have issues when Charlie, my dog, if you didn't know, has what I call lipstick moments. You can imagine what they are. And he has them when he greets me in the morning. And he has them just whenever I'm showing him a lot of affection. He doesn't do it with Philippe. And Philippe thinks it's disgusting. Oh, dear. Well, I love Charlie too. Charlie's my son. Isn't that terrible? I went to a fortune teller for my 30th birthday on Blackheath where we had strawberries with black pepper, because I just heard about that and it's divine, and champagne. Summer, don't you blush. And so we had strawberries and champagne, and then we found there was a caravan on Blackheath, and there was this lady in there, and she was like Ethel from the suburbs, and she had these curlers in her hair, and she took us all in to tell our fortunes, and she was amazing because she put my hand on her crystal ball, and I got an electric shock. Now I don't know whether she did that with everybody. She said to me, "Nah." She said that's a sign you are going to be very, very lucky, and she also said that I have 4 bracelets apparently on my wrists. And that also is a sign of luck, to have lots of bracelets. It's just like the wrinkle. Terror robes in the morning, we were discussing the attributes in France last night. Ah, that's a very good idea. Sacred, do you have a relationship with robes? Or are you just going to text him? Oh, that's funny. That is so good. Oh my God. If there's any guys on at the moment, please don't feel embarrassed. I'm sure you talk about women too. Ah, dear, 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 dear. Only by phone. Aha. Okay, Sacred, you've cleared that up for me. I wondered if you knew what was under the robe, perhaps. But anyway, no, clearly not. You could ask him. Look, no, I'm not even going there. Okay, I'll go there, but I don't mean it. Okay, we could always ask Robe to send us. No, 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 no. No, like asking a Scot if they have a relationship with a Tartan. But I digress. You know what that reminds me of? Okay, I have a story, The Tale of Pinyin Panda, and it's all basically, it is retelling the story of how the Chinese zodiac animals all got together. So it's basically the story of Lord Buddha's race. And if you don't know it, what happened was that 2,000 years ago or more, Lord Buddha held a party and he invited all the animals, and the animals all wanted to come to the party. And he said, there is not enough space for you all. So what I will do is you'll have a race, and whoever the first 12 who win the race. What he's saying, Lombok would only purr when he could suckle. Would only suckle on my lips. People think he's trying to kiss them. We're getting a little intimate here, Lisa Joy. Okay, I've got 11% left, girlies. When I go off, that means I'm starting the hose. Okay, it's a natural end to this conversation. But my gosh, I think this is the most fun conversation I've had yet. This is fabulous. Okay, so yes, so Pinyin Panda. Anyway, so in the story, with the Chinese calendar tales, you can have a little look at them online, just www.chinesecalendartales.com. And they're for basically, well, kids from 5 to 12, and adults collect them, because I did a series on all the animals of the zodiac, but I love weaving in Chinese history, the ancient Chinese history, yeah? And, oh, Lisa, I'm blowing you a kiss. Ready? Mwah. Can we all kiss Lisa right now? 1, 2, 3. Mwah. Lisa, you are kissed. When I get kissed by my darling, Charlie gets so jealous that he jumps all over us. So we have to literally put him outside, close the door, have a kiss, and then let him back in again if we want a decent cuddle. He's hilarious. Anyway, I just digressed. It was your fault, Lisa. It was your fault, Lisa. Chinese calendar tales. Yeah, good, Summer. Have a look at them. So anyway, Tale of Pinyin Panda. Okay, what I had this panda who thought that she was the most magnificent animal in the world, and she should be in the zodiac. And because, of course, the panda isn't in the Chinese zodiac, and so basically, there was a rerun of Great Buddha's of the race, and the panda was coming first all the way, and then suddenly she came last. And why? Because basically she caught sight of her reflection in the river. And yeah, me too, Lisa. So staring at her face in the river. So it was a little bit like the tale of Narcissus. And so she lost the race. So when I tell that to kids, I say, now don't you be too critical of her, because I know when you're teenagers, you're all going to be looking at the mirror like this, and you won't be able to get out of the garden, etc., the bathroom, etc. And the thing that really makes them laugh is I say, the girls are going, oh, is that a pimple? But the boys are going, oh, am I getting a moustache? Oh my God, does that cause laughter in the classroom? Anyway, but I digress, because we're getting to the tartan. In the end, Pinyin Panda is so disgusted that she doesn't get into the Chinese calendar that she goes off to Scotland, where she'll really be appreciated. Now, that was because Scotland had just got pandas into their zoo, and from China. And long story short, my distributor, when we came to the Year of a Dragon, I already had my dragon book. It's a bit of a story. So my distributor in England said, why don't you do something about a panda? And I thought, brilliant, I'll explain why pandas aren't in the zodiac, and I'll retell Lord Buddha's race. Yes, a narcissist. Who does that remind us of? Ooh, I wonder. Well, there's my ex for a start, and then there's someone called, what do we call him now? I sometimes even call him the dumb fuck. Which I don't like swearing, because I'm a children's writer. But you know what? Sometimes I just have to. it just comes. But otherwise, this is the dumpster, the Trumpster. No, not Irish, Scottish, my dear. Scottish, because what happened was that she goes off to Scotland, right? And so my illustrator, Harry Harrison, we have her dancing up the hill towards Edinburgh Castle in a kilt. And we used this tartan that had been created especially for the pandas at the zoo. And it was called Edinburgh Zoo Panda, would you believe? And yes, the orange pustule. I love that. Scrump, yes, this is good. We could go on along this line. I've got 6% left. Let me finish this story and then I'll go. So, the dumpster. Yes, no, not the dumpster. We're talking about the tartan. Yeah, I had to actually write to that company to get their permission to reproduce the tartan in the book. And they said yes. And the tartan is basically, it's grey and white, crisscrossed, right, with a line of red for China and a line of green for bamboo, which is what they eat. I know, so cool. You've got to. Well, then why don't you buy the Tail of Pinion Panda? It is only £6.99. I don't know what that translates to in the US, but they are available, my dear, at China Sprout in the US. Buy the whole set. Give them to your children. Give them to your grandchildren. Give them to yourself. I need to sell books. Anyway, they are good. They're really good. Adults, as I say, collect them. And I get beautiful emails from adults just saying, these are intelligent books. And they're funny, and the kids love them because the pictures are amazing. Trump and dumpster fire. Yes, I'm liking it. Come on. Look, I tell you what, I've got 5% left on my phone. Thank you, Lisa. Until we end up, can you all contribute names for Trump? Come on. So, it is lovely. No, that's not a nice name for Trump. Summer, that is not a good name for Trump. Not a good name for Trump. Dear. I like the orange pustule best. I got that off was that off you? Sacred Storylines? Somebody called him the orange pustule, and so I started putting that. I asked them if I could borrow it, and I used it. Maybe one day. What about, Lisa? What will it be about? Your life, I think, would be fascinating. Would it be about your life? Because I would love to read a book about your life. Now, Sacred Storylines, you're either saying that you call Trump me, which I don't think you are, or the book is going to be about you. And that, my girls and boys, that is what a narcissist is. My husband thinks that it's always about me. It's only because I take up a lot of space. Oh, that's a good one. King Lear. That is so good. King Lear. Very, very good. Except King Lear had 3 daughters, didn't he? And the dumpster only has one who he wants to sleep with. Have you, Lisa? Lisa's writing the most amazing camera obscura. Wow. Gosh. Lisa, tell me the names of your books, okay? Because I would like to get them, okay? So I want the 2 novels, right? Sacred, it was you. Well, thank you. And I'm telling you, I'm using that all the time. Orange pustule. He's got 2. Oh, actually, no, you're right. No, Valenia's not his daughter. She's his mother. Of course he's got 2. He's got Tiffany. Poor little Tiffany. Good God. Did you see? I did a little look. I wanted to find out what the new wife of Donald Jr. looked like, because I knew she would conform to the usual bimbo type. And, Lisa. Well, look, I tell you what, Lisa, I have a publishing company. And I know publishers. I'm not publishing anymore, I have to say, but I would love to read it. And get them out there, or I'll get them out there for you. I'll act as your agent, unpaid, to get them out there to a publisher. Okay? Please, American publisher. Yeah. Just write them to me. Sacred. Me too. I've got 3 collections of short stories I've written. Okay. Sacredstorylines.com books. The Long Valley Road and When Tears Are Well Spent. Wow. Are they about your life, Lisa? Do they sort of reflect on your life? Because basically, they look like they might. Anyway, darlings, I've got 2%. Do you know what? Because I hate ending anything on a blip, I'm going to say goodbye now. Can I blow you all a kiss? Be happy. Have a fun day. I'm glad we laughed, which is really good. Laughter is very, very good. You absolutely made me crack up. You totally did. Thank you for all the hearts. Coming of age genre. Lisa, I want to read. Can you send them to me? I promise I will not show them to anybody. Please. Thank you, Summer. And you have a lovely sleep, you guys. And yes, it does. Of course it does, Lisa. Even my tale of the panda who dances all the way to Edinburgh Castle reflects on my life. I have Scottish heritage. And I played the bagpipes. That's for another day. All right, darlings. Au revoir, as they say here. This has been so much fun. Bye.